Yeah, there was an interesting study that came out several years ago that showed that the death rate with this operation, the BBL, where you would take fat from one part of the body and inject it into the buttocks, was 1 in 3,000. And we believe it's due to fat emboli, where if you inject fat into the deep muscles of the buttocks, that fat can actually pass into veins and blood vessels. It can go to the heart and lungs, and people can die almost instantly from it.
Imagine scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and seeing the perfect hourglass figure everywhere. The tiny waist, dramatic curves, and a round lifted behind that seems to turn heads and unlock opportunities. Thousands of women chase that look through a procedure called the Brazilian butt lift or BBL. But behind the glamorous photos and influencer transformations lies a shocking reality. The BBL has been called one of the world's deadliest cosmetic surgeries, with real women losing their lives in pursuit of an ideal body. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the facts, the stories, and the hidden dangers no one talks about enough. Whether you're here because you're curious, concerned for a friend, or wrestling with your own body image questions, I am glad you're here. Let's dive in with sensitivity and truth. So, what exactly is a BBL? It's a fat transfer procedure where surgeons use liposuction to remove fat from areas like the stomach, thighs, or back, then inject it into the buttocks to create a fuller, rounder shape. It sounds simple on paper, but the technique is incredibly delicate and unforgiving. The BBL has been around since the 1980s and 90s, but it exploded in popularity over the last 15 years. Social media, the Kardashian-Jenner influence, stars like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and the rise of curvy Fashion Nova models shifted beauty standards towards a more voluptuous figure. Suddenly, that peach-shaped became a symbol of desirability, modeling gigs, brand deals, and online fame. According to reports from the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, buttock augmentation procedures, largely driven by BBLs, saw dramatic growth during this period. Why so many women choose it? The reasons are deeply human and deserve compassion. Many share stories of bullying, cruel comments about having a flat or boyish body from school, family, or online.
Have shaped us. Sometimes this body insecurity begins from childhood or adolescence. Through mocking and teasing, through criticism from family members. You hear things like, see as you just be like man. That was a joke to you. But to her, an identity was being formed. An impression of self was developing. Words like, see as though your sister's fine, see as though your sisters get shaped, now only you straight anyhow.
That constant criticism can create an open wound that lingers for years, creating a void inside, a feeling of not being enough. And in that pain, some women believe a BBL will finally fill the void and heal the hurt. Others feel a pressure to fit modeling contracts or influencer aesthetics promoted by brands like Fashion Nova. And in some cases, it's tied to seeking validation, attention, or financial opportunities in dating and social circles. Society constantly tells women their worth is tied to their shape, and that pressure can feel overwhelming. This is why we must all be so mindful with our words. Be kind. What we say can either build someone or deepen a wound that lasts a lifetime. Let's choose kindness. It costs absolutely nothing and can save so much pain. But here's the hard truth. BBL is extremely dangerous. Historically, it carried one of the highest mortality rates of any elective cosmetic surgery, with early estimates around 1 in 3,000 procedures. The main cause is fat embolism syndrome, when injected fat enters the blood vessels and travels to the lungs, heart, or brain. Complications still include infections, fat necrosis, seromas, asymmetry, chronic pain, sepsis, and the need for revisions. Even with improvements by 2026 in accredited facilities with board-certified surgeons, the procedure remains technically demanding and never risk-free. One lesser discussed but very real aspect of recovery that many women talk about online is something called the BBL smell. This is largely discussed on patient testimonies and social media discussions rather than large official studies, but plastic surgeons acknowledge it as a genuine concern during the healing process.
Just because I wasn't afraid to get on here and say my BBL smelled like dumpster juice and y'all don't make me the villain.
This is the ongoing fascinating saga of a woman whose BBL stank.
So in part 1, I was telling y'all how my sit-down air was stinking real bad. And it got to the point to where I had to carry around a bottle of air freshener or a bottle of perfume.
So how could a BBL cause somebody's sit-down air to stink really badly? Well, there are a number of possible causes. Obviously, cleanliness and hygiene may have something to do with it, especially if you've had a BBL and things aren't feeling the same down there. But it also could be due to medical conditions. Let's hear a little bit more from her.
Really ruined my life. I even lost my boyfriend behind it. He was telling me the whole time, like, you're stinking real bad down there and I can't stomach it. It was the truth. It got to the point to where when I would get my laundry out of the dryer, it would still smell like that rot.
It's not caused by the surgery itself, but by what happens afterward. Possible causes include bacterial overgrowth from strep sweat, moisture, and heat, especially under compressing garments that aren't washed frequently, drainage from the incision sites, fluid, old blood, or residue can build up and develop an odor if not properly managed. Limited mobility after surgery makes thorough hygiene challenging, and the enhanced shape can sometimes make cleaning more difficult. In rare cases, a stronger or persistent foul smell may point to complications like infection or fat necrosis, where some of the transferred fat cells don't survive due to insufficient blood supply, breakdown, and release unpleasant byproducts. Surgeons emphasize that any strong, worsening odor accompanied by pain, redness, fever, swelling, or unusual discharge should be treated as a medical concern and checked immediately. Proper aftercare, frequent garment cleaning, gentle hygiene, and following your surgeon's instructions can help minimize this issue. But it serves as another reminder of how demanding the full recovery process truly is. These statistics and experiences represent real lives lost or forever changed. Joselyn Cano, a 30-year-old Instagram model and mom of 2 known as the Mexican Kim Kardashian, passed away in 2020 after a BBL in Colombia.
33-year-old Erica Russell, a mother of 5, left her home in Tennessee in 2021 to travel to Miami for a Brazilian butt lift, or BBL, the plastic surgery procedure that has one of the highest mortality rates.
Like many folks and across the country, come to Florida and seek to have these plastic surgery procedures.
According to her autopsy, Russell died of a fat emboli and internal bleeding after the doctor perforated organs during the liposuction portion of the surgery and then injected fat too deep into her buttocks, hitting the muscle, something that was prohibited by law after studies conducted by the American Society of Plastic Surgeons showed it was the cause of most BBL deaths.
Before British mom Kaydell Brown, 38, traveled to Turkey for a BBL and other procedures. She never woke up, and when her body was returned, her family reported large parts of her brain, heart, and lungs were missing. raising devastating questions about what happened in that operating room. Stories like these highlight the human cost.
There was refused access to Kaydell's body. When it was finally returned to the UK, more devastating news was to come. To their horror, a coroner here told them that large parts of Kaydell's organs, including her brain and heart, had been removed.
When they returned her body, they'd kept pieces of her heart and her intestines.
How hard was that to hear?
Very.
Closer to home, Nigeria also has seen heartbreaking losses. In August 2024, a 36-year-old woman identified only as Abiola died while undergoing a buttocks augmentation procedure at a clinic in Lekki Phase 1 area of Lagos State. More recently, in early 2026, Nigerian socialite and influencer Elena Jessica tragically passed away after complications from a second BBL procedure performed at a clinic in Lagos. Reports indicate she developed severe infection, swelling, and inflammation despite treatment, and her death has prompted an official investigation by the Lagos state government. These stories from Nigeria remind us that the risks are not limited to overseas medical tourism. They can happen anywhere when safety protocols are not strictly followed. So, many women fly to countries like Turkey, Colombia, the Dominican Republic, or Mexico because prices are dramatically lower, often $3,500 to $7,000 all-inclusive versus the $8,000 to $20,000 plus in the US or the UK. You get surgery, hotel, and recovery bundled. But cheaper often means less rigorous regulations, surgeons who may not meet the same certification standards, rushed operations, poor follow-up, and added travel risks like blood clots. The rare but alarming reports of missing organs after death underscore how profit can sometimes override safety in medical tourism. My personal opinion, shared with love and no judgment, I support surgery only when it is medically necessary and genuinely improved your quality of life, like constructive surgery after a trauma or illness. For pure vanity or chasing changing beauty standards, I believe we should step back a bit. Trends come and go. What's celebrated today will shift tomorrow. Your worth isn't defined by curves, likes, or comments. Learn to love and care for the body you have. Nourish it, move it, treat it kindly. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalms 139:14. If you are struggling with body image, bullying, or body dysmorphia, reach out to a therapist or someone you trust. Real confidence comes from within, through healthy habits and self-acceptance, not a scalpel. To the families of Joselyn, Cano, Erica Russell, Kaydell Brown, Mrs. Abiola, Elena Jessica, and every other family who has lost a loved one due to this procedure, we wish you well. May God continue to comfort you, surround you with peace, and heal your hearts in the midst of your pain. Thank you so much for watching, and you can support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace.